So, with the group stage of IEM Cologne almost being over, we've seen a lot of upsets and unexpected outcomes from these matchups. Of note, probably the biggest one everyone is talking about is Heroic's early exit, as they recently replaced Refresh for Jabby, and they end up being the first team to be eliminated from the group stage. They lose 0-2 to NIP, and they lost 0-2 to Mouse to see their early exit through.
Yeah, when you watch them play, they play very similar to how they used to play, but you can tell that Cadian is very much limiting the skill ceiling of his team by calling and opping consecutively or simultaneously. As if they had a more skilled opper, you could see a lot more diversity in their playstyle. They already have a high pace playstyle, but they really get stuck at times, and there just isn't as much firepower in that opping position as you would like there to be.
It's also worth noting that Maus are not a particularly strong team compared to Heroic. Heroic are ranked number 10 in the world right now, while Maus are coming in at 18. That's a pretty big gap. And
Dallas did just beat G2 today, though. That is
Vitality.
worth. Oh, Vitality today, yeah.
Yeah,
That
so
is definitely worth noting.
Maus are definitely heating up, and when you look at their player ratings, you have in the Heroic matchup that is, you have the highest at JDC at 1.33 and the lowest at Dexter at 1.12. That's pretty impressive, all things considered. Seeing as they were able to keep every player on Heroic under a 1.0 rating.
Yeah, and another narrative you can look at is the fact that Astralis is finally coming back into form. They at this point of recording, they've secured playoffs and they're playing for the semifinal spot. So Heroic are not nearly as strong as they used to be. And I remember a lot of people used to talk about those Heroic players joining Astralis. Well, now it looks like Heroic hasn't had it. They did win Pinnacle Cup, but that was not a strong tournament at all. And I think coming in last place here at Cologne kind of is a big it shows a pattern of how they've been struggling at these major lands, and this time they weren't even able to make quarterfinals or win a map
It's
for
also
that
worth
matter.
noting in game one on Vertigo, Maus took 8 rounds in a row against Heroic, which is pretty. That's a huge number of rounds for any team to let up, and I think that just goes to show the mental state of the team probably isn't all there either.
Yeah, there's definitely been whispers that the players in Heroic don't necessarily agree with that high energy that Cadian brings, and a lot of them definitely don't seem like that's their demeanor. But I think Cadian is just tries to get the team to have some sort of fire in them when they're playing, because there's a lot of times where their offense just falls flat and they look like they have no answer to what the opposition is giving them.
And the sub headline reads, Heroic were comfortably outplayed in 3 of the 4 halves played in this series, just to show that they were never really in it to begin with. And I guess we'll see what this means for Heroic going forward, but definitely a very disappointing debut from this new lineup.